Appreciate y'all being here. First and foremost, I want to congratulate some of our other sports teams. Obviously, Coach Brooks and women's basketball and winning the regular season. And, then Coach Young and a 3-game win streak, and wishing them luck against Florida State tomorrow. Coach Roby, 2 conference champions, what they did. Women's track and field, 3rd straight championship. Impressive stuff. Individual titles in track and field and swimming. I'm excited to get out and watch our baseball team. Great weekend over Notre Dame. Our softball team. So just a lot of exciting things happening in the athletic department. Happy to be part of it. So, and we just finished phase 1, our winter, which is fundamentals, agilities, pad level, strength development, speed development, competition, mental toughness, just an opportunity to evaluate guys without pads on. So really good period for us. Good phase. Spring ball is phase 2. Again, fundamentals, techniques, base installation of schemes, improve on things that we didn't do well enough. We've identified those through film study, whether it's a technique issue, whether it's a schematic issue, where we need to be better. February, there was a lot of professional growth and development. For instance, the defensive staff from Iowa was in town for a couple of days. You trade ideas, you swap ideas, you grow, you learn. So implementing some of the things in all 3 phases that we learned through our professional development. You only get 15 opportunities in the spring on the field, so we have to make sure we make the most out of each one. The other piece I'll touch on is just the ability, as exciting as it was, retaining a bunch of experienced, productive players. I feel that way about our staff. And we were able to, keep the staff together for the most part. A couple of younger staff members were able to advance and grow professionally and into some promotions, some new opportunities, which we supported and were excited about. But, the core group, the 10 assistants and key off-field staff members, we were able to keep in place. And that's a commitment from Witt, from Dr. Sands. So I'm just as excited about the retention of our staff as I was about the retention of our players. Stability, consistency, especially when you believe in a process, is critical. And we have that in our favor right now. So I'll open it up for some questions. Yeah, no, I think you start with the same plan, but we always evaluate things at the conclusion of a phase, things we could do better. We started pretty aggressive last spring. Didn't feel like we had the group working at that level coming off of spring break, and we sustained some injuries. So a big emphasis for us was how do we make sure that we do everything we can to prevent, the hamstring pulls and things like that, we've got this group where we need to be. So we've altered some things with the start of spring ball. We'll be fast and furious, but we won't be out there as long initially, and it'll be a build-up to a full 22, 2-hour and 20-minute practice. So again, the sports science behind it, things like that, there'll be some nuances there. Yeah, for instance, our play action protection and what we do there. We know we want to grow that package and be better. So you study that in the off season, you come together, you get a good plan for our group and what you want to implement and test the waters with this spring. Just one example. Again, like most things in this business, it's through friendships and relationships. I've always had a ton of respect for Coach Brewer. have known a lot about him. Cordial relationship with him with my dad. But Coach Holt, Coach Jones, several guys on staff knew him very well. Coach Holt worked with him, and DJ's known him for a lot of years. And again, it made sense from a experience standpoint. At the high school relations position, the thing that James Johnson brought that really opened my eyes was the ability for an additional staff member to recruit at a really high level, that has been in those battles and recruited 4- and 5-star guys, knows the stones that need unturned. And Coach Brewer's certainly done that. And so to complement JJ with Coach Brew, I think it helps us on the recruiting front. His experience at the wide receiver position, the conversations that he and Coach Mines can have, I value that. He and Coach Bowen. And he's well respected in our footprint. So it just made too much sense.
Question back for him. Is he looking to get off the road recruiting, or is he going from a full-time assistant to a personnel role like that?
Yeah, I think I don't want to, speak for Coach, and that may be more personal for him. But everybody kind of makes decisions in the coaching profession that some people don't quite understand on the outside. But there's a lot of things internally, whether it's family, whether it's career goals, finances, regional. There's a lot that goes into it, and this made a lot of sense for him and for us. And so through a couple of conversations, you go, you say, let's do this, and I don't ask guys for a longer commitment than, be here and boots on the ground and let's work your tails off. And he's excited about it. He wants to be here, which is always important to me in hiring somebody. He recognizes the good things we're doing, the way we're doing it, and that's what he wanted to be part of.
Are there any position battles you're especially eager
The two that jump out to me the most, I think, well, really three. I'd say our backup quarterback position is key. Our starting Mike linebacker is key. And then I think what Cunningham brings to the offensive line. Where does he fit in? He's obviously going to compete for a starting job. I think at defensive tackle, everybody wants to be a starter, and we've got some great candidates in that room. But those guys, we're going to play 4 or 5 guys at that spot. They're all going to have a really strong role. But there'll be a battle there to see who comes out, and gets their name and face on the big screen on opening day.
So you mentioned that quarterback really go top and show his face.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, both of them have competed at a higher level. They're grown up a little bit. I think they were true freshmen last year. They just, on and off the field. And both talented, and both have a strong passion for the position. But, needed to grow up and mature and understand the demands at this level to be a college quarterback, to be a good one. And they made big strides that way this phase.
You also mentioned play action protection as well. Where Monte from that line, how has he kind of progressed, getting acclimated with just being here with you guys, as well as younger guys, John Garrett, they can kind of step up in this phase?
Yeah, all those guys have had good winters. I'm very pleased with Johnny and Lace development. I notice them each and every morning in our hunger drills. They've put on good mass. They're 300-pound guys, give or take a few, and they're moving well. They're learning it. So, and then with Cunningham, he hasn't had a chance yet to do a ton of football, but his movement and things like that, I'm very pleased with.
It kind of just seems to be a massive emphasis to just stay grounded in the phase, don't get ahead of yourself. How do you kind of preach that when videos have come on doing just insane stuff on the way where it's going, just say, stay grounded in now, just not get too far ahead, just stay where you're at.
Yeah, it's about staying hungry, and to do that, you have to stay humble. I remind them all the time, we got to trust the process. We can't worry about spring ball. To have the type of spring you want, all you can do now to help you do that is to have a great winter. That's it. And how do we do that? There's a lot of noise out there right now. Most of it positive, not all of it, but I tell them, I've told them a dozen times already, it's the same noise, just sounds different. It's noise. It doesn't impact what we do or how hard we need to work. I love that they get pats on the back, but that can only go so far. And they're a humble group. They worked hard. They're hungry. I think they're excited about the brotherhood they have and coming back, and it's a big piece of it.
Obviously, it's a nice luxury to have one sore and both strong coming back, but yeah, big contingent of younger guys behind them. Loved it, Johnson, which were from the guys. How do you kind of see those roles stepping up and nickel position in that question mark there?
Yeah, I think the nickel position is a big question mark. We've got great candidates, but we've got to find the right one for what we do and the defense we want to be. I've had nickels that have been 205 and more of a safety type. I've had nickels that have been 170 and kind of a water bug, cover guy, blitzer. But that's a big question for us that I'm excited to run some guys through that spot this spring. But you bring up maybe the next piece from a competition standpoint. It's who's really going to be the backups in the secondary. There are a lot of good candidates, young guys that are now year two and, have gotten their feet wet and have had a whole off season of growth. And so I'm excited. We did a really nice job 2 cycles ago with that group of skilled kids, wide receivers and DBs. So I'm excited to see what happens this spring.
And just lastly, with safety, what kind of seems to strong play on either side back there, and it's one maybe kind of shake it to the Mose, Jalen Jones. Maybe some people have a nose, but some a couple of weeks ago we spoke to very complimentary of Jalen Jones. His athleticism, what he can do back there in transition. What have they showed in 3 grade one? What are you excited to see as we go forward?
Yeah, I think first of all, Mose has grown up. Everybody notices the big hitter, right? But there's so many other things that go into that boundary safety spot, which is really, that's his spot. I don't fashion him as a field guy, but he could be really good in that boundary. We all know he's physical, he's eager, he's a coach's son. But then Jalen's athleticism and explosiveness to the big field is impressive. Obviously, we got to improve the tackling there. Too many misses, and that position is critical for that. And then as you mentioned, Stroh's got an opportunity to play either. I feel really good about that. And we've got some good young guys, not just Mose, but some other guys we're going to roll through those spots that, can make it interesting.
Brent, cross-training seems to be a priority during the spring. Derek Jones brought up Braylon Johnson, probably cross-training at safety. You look at your Sam spot, cross-training there. How important are these 15 practices for that cross-training purposes for those players?
Yeah, I think that's why you meet every day and you talk through your personnel, every couple of days. But you meet every day and talk about what's the plan for today. What's the snap count for Braylon at safety? What's the snap count for Dante at safety? Have we gotten McDonald enough work at Will? Have we gotten Kelly work at Mike? I think those are, you just can't, you have to plan those things. And we'll do a good job of that.
You mentioned Kelly at Mike. Is that a position that you see him growing into, especially with his wingspan and size and comfortability in this defense?
Yeah, referring to Kelly, he's going to miss spring. He had surgery just recently. He'll be with us, obviously, but it'll be a mental capacity. There won't be anything physical this spring other than rehab. But again, it's a situation where you feel comfortable with a guy at one position, and it's time, if it's best for us, he could be a nickel Mike. I've had situations where, you've had an athletic Will or Sam become that nickel Mike against 10 personnel teams especially, where you really like the matchup, or 11 personnel with a really athletic back, and your Mike's going to be man-to-man on him. I've done that over the years, and Kelly certainly is a really good athlete and had a great winter, let me say that. Low pad level, really looked, he was working at a high level, maybe the best I've seen him since I've been here. Just knee bend and running and explosiveness, and really had a good winter for us.
How much has Caleb Woodson grown for you in terms of building size, and have you envisioned, has this been part of the plan of getting him over to Will?
Yeah, he's going to continue to play some at Sam until there's another complement to Keontae. But Caleb is a tough kid. He's got a great build. He's had a really good winter. He works at it. I think he's a great Will candidate. And he may be one of those guys that ends up playing a lot of snaps, and some of it's at Sam and some of it's at Will. And then ultimately one day he may be a Mike linebacker.
Saw a video you guys brought in Bruce Lombard again, the MMA specialist. For the guys' second year of working with him, how much has that helped, and how much is it helping like some of the guys, the freshmen, a lot of the freshmen you brought in, the newcomers, of helping them get adjusted to the style you guys want to play at?
Yeah, again, it's familiarity with the techniques and, you know, the theory behind what Bruce brings. I mean, I'm a big fan of his and have been for several years. But our guys certainly benefited, and they believe in it. And for the young guys to see it from our old guys, to hear it from Bruce, you know, we've got not just the D-line and linebackers involved. We had the wide receivers working with them, you know, just recently. So, you know, I think, you know, when you're talking about balance and hand-eye and traps and, I mean, swipes and escapes, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't, you know, have a guy like that involved.
Let's go to Zoom for a couple.
On Zoom, please use the raise hand feature to ask questions for Coach Pry. We'll open it to questions. We'll start with Steve, please.
Brent, over this last cycle here, how much more comfortable or chaotic did the transfer portal the process go for you guys with transfer portal and dealing with people coming in and going out?
You talk about this last round or the one that's coming up?
The last round, yeah.
Yeah, you know, obviously for us, you know, those meetings were highly important. We had some guys decide to go off and go to maybe some programs where they had a better opportunity to play and get what they wanted, which I supported. But you know, I think we did a nice job with the 5 additions. I would consider Kamari kind of in that group. But I think we did a nice job with need areas. And you know, anytime you can do that and couple it with young men that you know a lot about, that you know are going to fit your culture and be well thought of and respected in the locker room. And we've done that again. I think that's been a key to our success. Those guys we've brought in that were older are great teammates, great workers, selfless, and that's been important. So that'll continue to be important. I don't know how much we'll do. You know, we'll see. We'll have retention meetings after spring ball. You know, we'll see what this next portal looks like, but you know, we don't have scholarships to give right now. So
When you're dealing with that, does it feel like now that you're a few years into this whole the portal thing, is it something that you guys feel like it's something that you guys kind of have a grasp of without it being so chaotic?
I think so. I mean, we certainly talk about it a lot. There's a lot of meetings surrounding it, you know, and guys' decisions to go on guys, not to go on guys. You know, do we or do we not, based on a need at a position? How great is the need? And then with a lot of these guys, there's a value tag to it, and you know, so there's certainly a lot of time invested in it, which is different than years past. This time of year, you wouldn't have to do that, but you know, we've embraced it, and I think the staff's done a really good job.
Great. Well, I'm sorry. One other thing, real quick, and kind of in the same sense that the NIL stuff going and changing all the time. Is that an ever-changing thing for you guys to have to kind of deal with, or is that starting to take a little bit of?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we want to be competitive in that space. I say this all the time. I don't want anybody to stay at Tech or come to Tech because of a monetary amount. I just don't believe in that. But we need to be and want to be competitive, and we have been able to be to this point. But again, success, you know, brings attention, and these guys, we've got some good guys coming back that I expect to have good years, and You know, it's always going to be part of the equation, you know, retention and recruitment, and NIL's part of it now. It goes hand in hand. So, you know, we're fortunate right now. We've got a great donor group that's done some really good things for us. We got to continue to invest there to take advantage of the opportunities we have.
Thank you.
Any final questions for Coach Pry on Zoom? Okay, Travis?
All right, we'll finish up with Andy here in the room.
Brent, last week it looked like Kyler and a couple of receivers down in Florida. Do you like to see that for the guys, the initiative doing that? I can imagine it's kind of competitive when you get out there with quarterbacks.
Yeah, I do like to see it. I was excited for him. I know that was a good opportunity and a good experience. And that's kind of the day and time we're in. You know, the guys are doing that. These trainers are everywhere. And just about every player's got one, you know, that he feels good about it, he wants to spend some time with, particularly skilled kids. So, yeah, I thought it was good. I talked to him about it. Ali was with him. Quan was down there. I think they had a good experience, got some good work in. You never want to, you know, risk injury, that you're doing so much that something like that could happen. But I think it's a good opportunity, you know, and to hear from somebody else a little bit and have some other perspective. You know, our coaches are our coaches, and that's, you know, that's where it lies in the end. But, you know, to come back and say, you know, so-and-so was telling us and teaching us a little bit about this, and what do you think about it, Coach? And I think to see some other guys that are doing it at a high level, to surround yourself, and you look over here and it's Cam Ward, and I mean, that's good. You know, sometimes that's a humbling experience.
Just to follow up on that, yeah, Kyler just got here at this time last year, so Ali wasn't available this spring, and wanted to have them be able to throw for the entire offseason together. How beneficial is that? They'll show up like that as well.
Yeah, I tell you, I always believe in chemistry, you know, in all aspects of the program. So to see what Kyron has done with that wide receiver group is awesome. That's where it needs to be. The relationship, the chemistry, the work ethic, you know, doing the extra together, the commitment there with Jay Lane and those guys, and we get this tight end group healthy, and they're involved, and the backs. I mean, it's, you know, I think, you know, the reps that you get there, and the timing, and the trust and the confidence, that's invaluable.
Anything else for Coach? Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks, everybody. Let's have a good spring.